Mr. President and members of the Senate, I announce the presence of the managers on the part of the House of Representatives to conduct proceedings on behalf of the House concerning the impeachment of Donald John Trump, former President of the United States.
The managers on the part of the House will be received and escorted to the well of the Senate. Sergeant at Arms will make the proclamation.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. All persons are commanded to keep silent on pain of imprisonment while the House of Representatives is exhibiting to the Senate of the United States an article of impeachment against Donald John Trump, former President of the United States.
Now, you should see the Capitol. They got barbed wire around it now. It looks like at the time when you went into a war zone.
Wow.
But remember.
Well, I mean, look, first, the case is so ridiculous. I mean, how do you incite a riot that was already planned? How do you incite a breach of the Capitol that happened before the president even completed his speech? And how can you charge the president with inciting violence at the Capitol when he told the people at the rally to peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard?
Haradas posted this question on Twitter, quote, "Should Fox News be allowed to exist?" No, he quickly concluded, Fox News, quote, "shouldn't be legal." No one online seemed especially surprised by this view. Among a certain group, it is a gathering consensus. CNN certainly agrees with it. CNN is our direct competitor, of course, so you might imagine they would recuse themselves from this conversation. Oh, but just the opposite. CNN is staring down the barrel of some pretty lean years ratings-wise, now that their reason for existing has departed from Mar-a-Lago. They would love one less news channel on the dial. So over the weekend, the Dwarf King summoned a pair of his most pliable minions up from the cellar and turned them loose to explain that actually allowing people to
terminate all Republicans.
Ooh, I'm saying this for Fox News sponsors. So how honest do you want to be here? The man you just saw has been accused in public by the President of the United States of murdering a young woman. Not many cable news hosts can say that. Now, we're not taking a position on Joe Scarborough's guilt or innocence in that case. We're not a law enforcement agency. It's not our place to do that. But one thing we did not do and would never do is go on TV to demand that because Joe Scarborough was accused of violence by a politician, American companies should not be allowed to sell their products to his viewers. Doing that never even occurred to us, not for a second. We're not fascists, or for that matter, middle-aged performers running away from their own consciences. We're Americans. We think people we disagree with should still be allowed to talk in public. The tech monopolies have never believed that. They're not American companies. They're global conglomerates that don't answer to voters. They're more powerful than our government at this point, you should know. Last week on CNN, the former chief security officer at Facebook.
Do you think that these forces represent a potential existential threat to this country?
No, it's existential. It's existential. Existential.
This is the most extreme directive, I would argue, really in the history of modern law enforcement that's ever been issued.
Better. I have to say, Sean, I heard Rick Wilson say I sucked at Twitter. Well, I guess I sucked at it so much they had to shadow ban me, along with Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows and Devin Nunes. And I just happened to check, when you look at my personal account and my official account, I have like twice as many followers as Rick Wilson. So if I suck, I wonder what that means about him.
Yeah, and by the way, I wonder if any other member of the Cheney family maybe wore makeup during interviews. I saw the called network he works at, personally writing a lower third. It read, quote, Psaki promised, the new Jen Psaki, the press person, promising to share accurate info. How refreshing. Oh, thank goodness, the thrill up his leg when Obama speaks or Biden speaks. Anyways, that sound like objectivity or fawning to you? Does that sound like someone who's interested in fair, accurate coverage, or does it sound like more of the abusively biased, corrupt, fawning fake news media industry designed to protect all things democratic socialist no matter what?
This whiny victimhood from Matt Gaetz and Ken Buck and Jim Jordan and Marjorie Taylor Cuckoo QAnon Green and all these other people, it is the most pathetic example of special pleading I've ever.
Of the president post January 6th were post election day were not great. What happened on January 6th was not great. Does he deserve to be impeached? Absolutely not. It's
so you'd vote against impeachment. Yeah, you'd vote against
absolutely.
Impeachment. So that's where you would part ways.
Just kick him out the door.
You would part ways with, for instance, Mitt Romney, who will be voting, it sounds like, for impeachment, to convict. At least it sounds that way.
I don't even think there's a basis for impeachment. I mean, the idea that they're even bringing this up, they didn't even have a hearing in the House. Now they're going to turn around and bring about impeachment, yet they say they're for unity. I mean, they beat him up before he got into office. They're beating him up after he leaves office. I mean, at some point, I mean, give the man a break. I mean, move on. If you truly are about moving on, move on. The idea that they're going to do impeachment, that's not going to bring our country together. That's only dividing our country.
Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. You can do so by clicking the link right above this video. That way, you'll get immediate updates for all my new videos.